Welcome to First Parish in Bedford, a Unitarian Universalist congregation where we come together every week as a people with diverse beliefs and a shared commitment to bring more peace, more love, more justice, and more joy into the world. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you worship one God, many gods, or no God at all, you are welcome here. I want to say a special welcome to all of our visitors this morning, in person and on Zoom. We are glad you are here with us today. Here in the sanctuary, you are invited to fill out a blue connection card, which you'll find at the end of the pews. You can give that to one of the ushers during the collection, and we will add you to our mailing list. In Zoom, we will put a link in the chat to a form you can also fill out as your virtual blue connection card. Parents and caregivers of little ones, there is a nursery available downstairs for your convenience, but we are always delighted to have little ones here in our sanctuary as well. After the service, everyone is welcome to join us for coffee, tea, and fellowship in the common room. Visitors, if you see someone with a big red coffee mug in their hand, that is a person from our membership team who would be delighted to say hello and answer any questions you might have about the church. We have a few announcements today. Registration is open for our annual First Parish Weekend Retreat at Ferry Beach on May 8th to 10th. Come for the s'mores, stay for the camaraderie. This year, there will be children's programming on Saturday morning, and teenagers have the option of staying in a cottage with other teens. You can go to our website, uubedford.org, and there is an amazing Ferry Beach page on the Community Life section with tons of information and the link to register. Rooms are available first come, first serve, so register sooner rather than later to get the room you prefer. If you have questions, please reach out to Carla Bradford, Rebecca Neal, Reverend Annie, or Nate Sellers. March 28th, we are having a No Kings rally on the Common, led by our public witness team. See a special flyer in your bulletin for more information. Later that same evening, March 28th, join us for the annual Talents and Treasures auction. There are many amazing things for you to bid on, and we still need your donations. So, please visit the Talents and Treasures website and submit your auction items, not action items. You can access the website on the main page. Again, website uubedford.org. Finally, today is the launch of our annual stewardship campaign. Woohoo! And you'll hear more about that shortly. After the service today at 11:45, we are having a special presentation in the common room led by your one and only treasurer, Wendy Innes, and Reverend Jamie to tell you all about the draft budget for the upcoming church year and answer your questions. Note that this budget is what the pledge drive pays for. So if you want to learn more, please stick around for that presentation. And that is our announcements. Every Sunday at First Parish, we light our chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Our chalice lighting words today are by Pat Uribe-Lichty. The chalice is a symbol of our faith. Like our faith, it is not magic, nor is it mysterious. We light it as a reminder of what we share as a community and of who each of us is called to be. When we feel lost in a chaotic world, may the light of our chalice show us our path. When we are afraid of the times we live in, may the light of our chalice give us courage. Our chalice is a symbol of our commitment to each other and to ourselves. We light it today as a gathered community that we may understand more completely and act more boldly and hope more fiercely.
Thank you, Jen. Welcome again, everyone. My name is Jamie Hinson-Rieger. I'm the senior minister here at First Parish. And as Jen said, today is Stewardship Sunday. Woo! And this year is a very special Stewardship Sunday because two things are happening at the same time. The launch of the annual Canvas, which is the yearly pledge drive we have every year, which funds the operating budget, and the launch of our capital campaign, which you voted for unanimously on February 8th. During coffee hour, there will be a stewardship table in the common room where our fabulous stewardship team will give you a packet with 2 pledge cards in it, one for the annual pledge drive, and one for the capital campaign. We ask that you return both pledge cards by April 25th. Every pledge matters, and we hope that we will see widespread participation by the congregation in both campaigns. Stewarding the future of the congregation is something that we are all doing together. And we understand and know that the financial component of this looks different for everyone, and we're strongest as a community when we are all supporting the community together. So I am delighted this morning to give you a special update about the capital campaign. This has been an 18-month journey leading up to the congregational vote. If you were just hearing about it for the first time or still learning about it, there is a wealth of information on our website. There are handouts available at the membership table. And I or anyone on the capital campaign team would be super delighted to talk to you about it. The It's Our Turn campaign is about preserving the legacy of our beloved historic building while ushering in improvements that reflect our commitment to accessibility and sustainability and creating vibrant community together. The goal for the capital campaign that you all voted on is to raise $1.5 million to this end. And I am thrilled to share with you that as of today, we have already received $1,127,000 in pledges toward that $1.5 million goal. So thank you to our early donors for their generosity, and we are significantly on our way towards meeting our total pledge goal. I have also been reminded on many occasions that every First Parish Bedford capital campaign in living memory has in fact exceeded its goal, and we would love to exceed this goal too. But more than that, again, we would love for everyone in this congregation to participate however you are able. It's about doing this together. So, when you receive your pledge packet with the information and your 2 pledge cards, we hope you will thoughtfully discern your ability to support these 2 important campaigns and return those pledge cards to the office by April 25th. You can also pledge online on our website. There's a big pledge icon on the front page. Thank you, fabulous website team, and thank you for advancing your support. And again, in celebration of the launch of the stewardship campaign, there will be cake in the common room after today's service. Now, having said all of that, let's take a breath and center ourselves for our time together today, giving ourselves permission to be fully present to one another. Our opening words are by Robert French Levins. Holy and beautiful, the custom which brings us together in the presence of the Most High, to face our ideals, to remember our loved ones in absence, to give thanks, to ask for and offer forgiveness, to be enlightened and to be strengthened. Through this quiet hour breathes the worship of the ages, the cathedral music of history. 3 unseen guests attend, faith, hope, and love. Let all our hearts prepare them place. And our opening hymn today is number 367 in your gray hymnal and on the screen. Gather the Spirit. Please rise in body or spirit. 347. And if you would please remain standing, we will say our unison affirmation that we say every Sunday. It's in your bulletin and on the screen. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Este es nuestro gran pacto, vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad en espíritu de amor, y ayudarnos los unos a los otros. Please be seated. All right. It's time in the service for our story for all ages. So anyone who might be on the balcony level, perk up your ears. And parents and families out in the Zoomosphere, this is a fabulous time to gather a little more closely around the cozy blue glow of your device. There's a story called Tea Parties and Mudball. This is a story about liking what you like. It was late afternoon in the enchanted forest. The leaves were drying out after a refreshing spring rain, and two fairies, Reginald and Buttercup, were just sitting down to a tea party. They'd placed their little table in a clearing which was set off from the rest of the forest by a surrounding circle of bushes. Buttercup laid out the delicate porcelain plates and the tiny porcelain cups, for fairies are very small, you know, and Reginald began to pour the tea. "Isn't it a nice day for a tea party?" said Reginald. "I suppose," said Buttercup. "You suppose," said Reginald. "What's wrong?" "I don't know," said Buttercup. "We have a lot of tea parties, don't we?" "We're woodland fairies," said Reginald. "Tea parties in the enchanted wood is what we do. That and flittering about on our gossamer fairy wings." "I suppose," said Buttercup, sighing and sipping his tea. Just then, from over the row of bushes, came the sound of deep voices chanting loudly, "Mudball! Mudball! Mudball!" Reginald and Buttercup peeked over the bushes. A family of giant trolls was wrestling around in a large mud puddle on the forest floor. They were covered from head to toe in mud. "Mudball! Mudball!" They laughed and roared. "Ah, trolls," said Reginald. "Never mind them." He lifted his cup of tea up to sip it daintily. Just then, a giant ball of mud came soaring up over the bushes and landed splat in the center of their table. The plates and teacups went flying. Reginald and Buttercup went flying. They were both covered from head to toe in mud. Reginald shook the mud off his fairy wings angrily and flitted above the bushes. The trolls were hauling up great handfuls of mud from the ground, shaping them into mud balls and throwing them at each other with great shouts of delight. "Mudball! Mudball!" "Hey," said Reginald, "what do you mean throwing around mud like that? Watch what you're doing." The trolls stopped throwing mud and looked at Reginald. Buttercup peeked up over the bushes too. "We're trying to have a tea party over here," Reginald said, wagging his finger. "You trolls are mucking up the whole forest." "Sorry," said the trolls. "We more careful now." "I should hope so," said Reginald. Back on their side of the bushes, Reginald waved his fairy wand with a cleaning spell to clear away the mud and restore the table and dishes. "Well, I'm glad that's over," he said, sipping at his teacup once again. Buttercup looked over longingly at the bushes. And from over the bushes came more shouts and laughter. "Mudball! Mudball! Mudball!" They could hear the splats and the splooshes of the mud flying around, and before too long, a ball of mud even larger than before came sailing up over the bushes and landed splat in the middle of their table, sending them flying again. Reginald made an angry sound like "Rrr," and soared back over the bushes. "We are trying to have a tea party over here." But then, from beside him, Reginald heard Buttercup yell, "Mudball! Mudball!" Buttercup scooped up a thimbleful of mud with his tiny fairy hands and threw it at a troll. The trolls laughed and cheered, "Mud ball, mud ball!" They all began flinging mud ferociously, including Buttercup, who darted nimbly about in the air between them, flinging mud and laughing. Reginald sighed, flew back over to his side of the hedge. He waved his wand with the cleaning spell, and he moved the table and tea set far away from the bushes so he would not get splattered by stray mud. He sipped the tea by himself, listening to the shouts and splats from the other side of the bushes. And then Reginald heard a deep voice say, "Tea party?" Reginald looked up to see a troll shyly peeking up over the bushes. "Tea party?" the troll said. Would you like to join me?" Reginald asked. "Tea party," said the troll with a smile and bounded over the bushes. Reginald waved his wand, and in a flash, the troll was decked out in a stylish tuxedo with a top hat and a cane. "Fancy," the troll said with delight. He sat down precariously, nearly crushing the tiny fairy chair, picked up the weensy fairy cup between his giant troll fingers. "Tea party," he said, and smiled contentedly. And so for the rest of the summer, Reginald and the troll had their tea party. Buttercup and the other trolls played mud ball, and everyone had a good time. At the end of the day, they would all roast marshmallows together. Buttercup went to the tea parties sometimes, and Reginald never played mud ball, not even one time, and it was all good. Thank you for sharing my story. We're going to sing the kids off to their classes now with Jason Shelton's Children's Blessing. The words are on the screen and in your order of service.
Good morning. My name is Marge Heckman. I'm a member of the lay pastoral team here at First Parish. And at this time in the service, we invite anyone in the sanctuary to come forward and light a candle of joy or concern. And after that, we'll check in on Zoom. And I will be at the candle stand after the service if anyone would like to light a candle in silence. Okay, I will light one last final candle for all those joys and concerns that we keep in our hearts. And I'll be at the candle stand after the service if you'd like to light a candle in silence.
Our joys and concerns are larger than this gathered community. They go out into the larger community and the larger world. Many of you have named issues that I'm sure are on all of our hearts this morning. The terrible war in Iran that has claimed the lives of 13 U.S. service people and many, many other lives, and has cast us all into this place of uncertainty, and the naming of the terrible acts of anti-Semitism and anti-Semitic violence that have happened abroad and here in the United States. And I know there have been incidents here in Bedford as well of troubling symbols that have been encountered. So this is not a distant problem. This is a problem that lives close. It lives in our hearts. It is a very old problem, and it's the one that we need to attend to seriously and thoughtfully and prayerfully if you pray. But let's take a moment of silence and breathe together and lift up our intention that all people should live in peace, that all people should be safe in their communities, that all people should have the freedom to worship safely and be safe in their houses of worship, and that we can work towards a world of mutual goodwill and peace and acceptance, that this vision is not beyond our grasp, and we will commit to continue working towards it. And our meditation hymn today is number 123, Spirit of Life. Would you please rise and body your spirit?
So almost every day in the mail, I get a request for donations. We have Women's Lunch Place, WGBH, UU Urban Ministry, Greater Boston Food Bank, Tufts. That was just from like the last 2-3 days. They come in the email too. Move On, the Housing Corporation of Arlington, the ACLU. They don't actually email me, but you get the idea. It's kind of overwhelming. There are so many worthy causes and organizations and so many places vying for our charitable giving. And then there is First Parish. And I understand the competing calls for donations, but I don't think of giving to the church as being in the same category as giving to the Bedford Food Pantry or any of these other organizations. This is more personal and perhaps more selfish. While I value the work of FoodLink and the Nature Conservancy, I don't see the impact of their work directly in my life. First Parish makes an enormous difference in my life every day. My closest friends and greatest supporters are in this room, if not today, often. The people who nurture me when I'm struggling, the people who show me how to live my values, the people who challenge me to be more inclusive, generous, welcoming. The world is a scary place right now, the people who encourage me to remember. I would be so adrift without this community and without the resilience I get from our interconnectedness. When I was a child, we lived in a very close-knit neighborhood, kickball in the empty lot down the street, swimming at the lake, riding the bikes around and around the block. There's also the part where we went up the hill and then you pedaled as hard as you could, see how far you could go after you stopped pedaling. Don't tell my parents, that was kind of scary. The neighborhood owns a piece of lakefront property together. They still do. And that shared labor and responsibility shaped them as a community. Now, my parents still live there. Neighbors help dig them out of the last couple storms. They lend out their canoe or bring soup. I thought that was common, and I looked for it every place that John and I lived, and we didn't really find it. It was a lonelier existence, and we tended to double down on our nuclear family. Moving closer to the church has been transformative. The shared labor and responsibility of being part of First Parish provides community and connection for me. So what does that mean to give and pledge money to this congregation? For me, it means supporting and sustaining my community, my second home, selfishly helping this community to continue to be here for me and for the people I love. If a budget is a statement of values, I value this place more than any other self-care expense. Fancy gym memberships, vacations, therapy. It means recognizing that just because we do not charge for most of our programming, the groups and activities from youth programming to choir are valuable, and we need to support them financially. While the IRS sees our financial contributions to this community as charitable donations, I would argue that they are not. They are financial support for ourselves and each other. And as you consider how much you are prepared to contribute over the next year for stewardship and the next 3 years for the capital campaign, I urge you to think about what this place and community give to you and to your family. Not everyone has the resources to contribute equally, and no one expects that. But I do want to ask, how does your budget reflect what you value? To quote Sharon MacDonald, "We are all heirs of first parishioners who were convinced that this church community is vital. They created ways to hold each other in love and commitment and service. We receive their gifts and cherish them and add our own and pass them forward."
Thank you, Jen. Can't think of any better introduction to the offering. Every Sunday at First Parish, we take a collection to support the ongoing life and good works of this congregation. In a moment, Steve is going to bless us with some beautiful music. The ushers will come around and take your offering. It will now be gratefully received. May it be joyfully given. story for all ages that I told today, Tea Parties and Mudball, is one that I used to tell at the congregation I served in Indianapolis. And it was always a big hit whenever I told it, right? It's fun, it's goofy. The message in simplest form is it's okay to like what you like, which is an important message for kids to hear. And it's also not a bad message for grown-ups to hear, right? Embrace who you are, let you be you, let other people be other people. It's important to note at the end of the story, the trolls and the fairies find a way to spend shared time together in community as well. It's about finding a way of being in community that honors people's individual selves while also still being together. And I struggled with whether I could or should tell the story today because it is goofy and it is silly, and this is not a silly time, right? I know people are coming in here today with a lot on your minds and a lot on your hearts, and we heard that during Joys and Concerns. When I last preached to you, which was March 1st, we'd been engaged in our latest war for one day, right? We'd bombed Iran the day before. We heard about it from a social media post in the middle of the night. And we didn't really talk about it at all in the service because it had just happened, other than to have a moment of silence. And here we are 2 weeks later, deeper into that war, with thousands dead, including 13 American soldiers, many unanswered questions about what we're doing, or if anyone even knows what we're doing. This is a serious moment. And we have to add to that the violence against the synagogue in Michigan and the rising climate of anti-Semitism. I know that is weighing on your hearts today. So there's a lot of serious things that we're all feeling, things that we're worried about, and I did not want the goofiness of the story to feel like a disconnect or like an act of disrespect. And the message of the story can also be heard a little flippantly, honestly, in the context of these grave issues, right? Do what you want, don't do what you don't want. Well, in adult life, as I'm sure you all well know, we often do things that are not exactly what we would have preferred, right? Sometimes you do what needs to be done, period. That's just reality. The dishes need to be done. The trash needs to be taken out. Now, as it happens, I like to do dishes, and I like to take out the trash. I find these tasks satisfying. I like to vacuum, too. Something about restoring order. But even if I didn't, thank you. Even if I didn't, these things need to be done, right? And sometimes harder things need to be done, right? People take second jobs that they don't love to make ends meet, and sometimes they take third and fourth jobs, honestly, in this generation. Parents do all kinds of things for their kids that are done gladly because it's for your kids, but they are not always experienced gladly. I'm looking at you, Hannah Montana movie. But I don't mean to belabor the point, right? You know what I'm talking about. And when a nation is at war, or when a nation has been taken to war and its democracy is under threat from rising authoritarianism, I'm just being hypothetical here, the last message that I would want to deliver is do what you want and ignore everything else, right? That would be a deeply unserious message. So the larger message that I hope you might take away today instead is we are all going to meet this moment together, but we are not all going to meet it in the same way. Nor should we. Theologian Frederick Buechner said that we are called to the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need, where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. And ultimately, to sustain a community and sustain a movement and to sustain hope, there needs to be this coming together of need and gladness. There is much to be done always, and people need to be energized by the doing, or the movement fizzles and the community shrinks. There needs to be space for joy in the doing and joy in the coming together. Emma Goldman famously said, "If I can't dance, I don't want to be a part of your revolution." So there needs to be space for laughter and lightness and even silliness, which is why I decided to stick with the time for all ages, despite all the things. So let me give you an example of how people are meeting this moment in different ways. There is a movement that has started up in this country called Singing Resistance. It is a movement to learn and teach songs that can be widely sung at protests or at other gatherings for activism. People have specifically brought back songs that they might have learned in Minneapolis, They are sharing and learning songs from well-loved justice songbooks through history. And the idea is that we all got to get really good at singing together. Singing is so important, and they understood that so well in the 60s. We did a lot of singing in Minneapolis. We sing together here every Sunday, so we know very well the power of music to build community. And the idea of these resistance singing gatherings is just to teach people how to bring that power to other justice-making spaces and how to bring joy and energy and connection into activism. Now, if you heard me sing at karaoke a couple of Fridays ago, you know that song leading for the resistance is probably not going to be my thing. Probably not my lane. But it is someone's thing. In communities far and wide, the deep need for protest singing is meeting people's deep gladness at singing and song leading, and that is a beautiful thing. Keep an eye out for those gatherings if you want to be a part of it. They're being hosted all over the place. And this is just one example, right? There are so many places where the needs of this moment might meet someone's deep gladness. If we want to keep talking about activism, turns out there's a lot of need for organizing and managing data if you want to have a justice movement, and some people love spreadsheets. So we all share our gifts in many different ways. And the same is true here at First Parish, of course. It takes a village to make this community go, and so many people give of their time, talent, and treasure to make it happen. So today, of course, is Stewardship Sunday. It's the start of the pledge drive. We've naturally been talking a lot about financial support, and this congregation is incredibly generous in the financial support it provides to First Parish. But I also wanted to spend some time talking about volunteering, because people's contributions of time and energy and ingenuity and loving care are equally as important, if not more so, in making First Parish go, right? First Parish is a big group project powered by volunteers. Now, every team or committee at First Parish would probably tell you that it wishes it had more volunteers. That has probably always been true of every church in every time and place, right? Lo, the universal cry went out, we need more volunteers. And it is true that First Parish is a busy place, and there is actually a lot of need for volunteers. And for a variety of reasons, it's also true that people are feeling stretched with their time and energy. We've all got a lot of things vying for our attention. That's just the truth. Everyone has a different capacity to volunteer, and it is vastly dependent on what is going on in your life, which changes all the time. Right? There are seasons in our life where we have more time and energy to volunteer, and there are seasons where we have less. And that is normal, that is natural. Sometimes people with a lot of capacity take on more and more things, and they become super volunteers. As the saying goes, if you want something done, find a busy person and ask them to do it. If you're a super volunteer and it is giving you life right now, awesome. Thank you for everything that you were doing. And if you are a super volunteer and it is not giving you life right now, or it's even starting to wear you out a little bit, please consider saying no to some of the things that are not giving you life, even if it means that that thing might not get done. We will figure it out as a community. Even if it means we don't do some things that we used to do, or we have to do them in different ways. Love is the spirit of this church, and it is not loving for us to burn each other out. That's not building the beloved community. You can find volunteer opportunities on our website in the Get Involved section. You can find a list of committees and their chairs. I can help connect you with people. The office can help connect you with people. If you are using our beautiful new Breeze database, you can find a list of committees and chairs and their contact info all in one place. If you're not connected to Breeze, I can help you do that too. So there are a few places where I happen to know there's a deep need right now. And if it happens to match your deep gladness, you might consider reaching out about volunteer opportunities. This is not by any means an exhaustive list, but I just wanted to mention a few. The Faith Development Program for Children and Youth, what we used to call religious education, or RE, needs adult volunteers. We are actually required by our Safe Church policy to have a certain number of volunteers present in order to safely run our programs. If volunteering for the RE program, if working for the kids would meet your deep gladness, please reach out to the Faith Development staff. That's Reverend Annie Gonzalez and Nate Sellers. The lay pastoral care team needs volunteers. So if caring for people in a variety of ways is something you like to do, please reach out. And you don't have to be on a committee to do it. You can just be a person who helps care for people. The Sunday Services Tech team, stalwart crew, need volunteers. This is the team that runs the sound, video, and Zoom that makes Sunday mornings possible. They will be happy to teach you all you need to know. If you are a former AV kid and this lights up your soul, please reach out. You can unleash your inner music theater kid and make Sunday morning happen. And coffee hour could always use volunteers. And this one is nice because you can really pick your level of commitment, right? You can volunteer for one Sunday a year if that is what works for you. I feel like you can also customize this as an extrovert or an introvert, right? This can be super social if you want it to be, or you can stay in the kitchen and just do your thing. If you like coffee and kitchens and you maybe like being social, but maybe you don't like being social, please reach out. And now, having talked a lot about volunteering, I want to pause and also make sure that you know that your presence alone is a gift to this community, right? Like full stop. Your presence, including the people in the Zoomosphere, your presence is a gift to this community. It is hard to build the beloved community without any actual people. Choosing to be here in person or online, choosing to be a part of this community, choosing to be present and connected, that is a gift to this community. And I hope you feel that always. And for families especially, we know that you have a lot on your plate. Showing up is a gift. Bringing your children and youth is a gift. And children and youth, we appreciate the gift of your parents. When Suzanne and I were younger and our kids were younger, oftentimes it was the kids who got us out the door and off to church, right? We'd be like, you know what, Sunday in bed is actually pretty nice. And the kids would be like, no, we're going to church. So we'd go. So all you children and youth who are wrangling your parents to church, we appreciate you. Showing up full of energy and enthusiasm is a gift, but showing up when you're feeling tired or vulnerable or overwhelmed or even cranky, frankly, and trusting that there is something here for you and that this place and this community can hold and behold the fullness of your humanity, that is also a gift. Trusting that we can be real with each other and showing up real is a gift. And hopefully when you do that, you find some peace here, you find some rest, you find some joy. We all need to be making space for joy in our lives. First Parish is and should be a joyful place, even if as we deal with life's challenges. We certainly don't shrink away from hard things here, but we come here for respite. We come here, as the quote on your bulletin says, to take a breath, to feel like we can breathe again. We come here to calm our bodies and to cultivate peace in our hearts, and all of this makes space for joy, and we need that to sustain ourselves. And then, if you are in a season of your life when you have a little time and energy to volunteer to help make this thing we call First Parish go, my suggestion is find the thing that brings you joy and do that. Find the thing that fills you up. Find the thing that connects to your deep gladness and let that be your thing. And it's a different thing for everybody. And we need everybody doing their thing for this community to thrive. Sometimes people say they feel guilty because they're not standing out somewhere with a protest sign. Like we should all be activists in a certain way. Sometimes feel a particular pressure to do that in UU communities where there's a lot of activism. Where we come together as UUs, as Unitarian Universalists, to bring more love, more peace, more justice, more joy into the world. Activism is a part of that, sure, but it looks like a lot of different things. And justice making is supported in a lot of different ways. And in fact, I believe that supporting a UU community is intrinsically an act of justice making. Because as an institution, we are carrying those values into the future. We're teaching them to our children and youth. We're encouraging and supporting them in each other. We are cultivating them in the community. It's what we do. Love and justice, peace and joy. And if you're supporting First Parish, however you're supporting First Parish, whether your gift is protests or potlucks or singing in the choir or serving on a committee, you are supporting those values. If you are blessing us with the gift of your presence, you are supporting those values. We're all building the beloved community together. with all of the different gifts we have to bring, including and especially the gift of ourselves. In Minneapolis, they taught us a song. Solo el pueblo, salva el pueblo. Only the people save the people. It goes like this. Solo el pueblo, salva el pueblo. When one of us falls, we all rise up. See if you can do that. Solo el pueblo, salva el pueblo. When one of us falls, we all rise up. Solo el pueblo. Keep going. Salva el pueblo. When one of us falls, we all rise up. Solo el pueblo. Salva el pueblo. When one of us falls, we all rise up. Look at that. I think I just led a song. So my last thought is try new things, even if they are things that you didn't think you could do, and don't worry about getting it perfect. Take risks, mess up, laugh, be silly even, and make lots of space for joy. We are all going to meet this moment together. Thank you for all you bring. You are a gift. We need you. We need each other. Blessed be, and amen. And now, speaking of sharing gifts, we are going to sing a song that our own Dean Groves wrote especially for this moment. The words are on the screen, or will be on the screen. Steve is going to play it through for us one time. It's a familiar tune. Please rise and bow to your spirit. Please be seated. Our closing words are by Starhawk. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us, eyes will light up as we enter, voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done, arms to hold us when we falter, a circle of healing, a circle of friends, someplace where we can be free. Amen. And now we extinguish the light of our chalice, but not the light of understanding, the warmth of compassion, or the fire of commitment. Let us take those with us until we meet again. Go in peace.